And I'm Jackie Smith. Coming up next on Eyewitness News at 6, a U.S. soldier is killed in Bosnia. We'll tell you how he died.
Everybody's feeling it. Pittsburgh in the middle of the deep freeze. Bob Kuzma will tell us just how low the thermometer will go.
Plus, something to warm you up. Baseball. We'll take you to Pirate Fest next at 6.
KTV2. Now, live from Gateway Center, this is Eyewitness News.
Good evening. While our icy weather is the big news locally, at this hour we are awaiting word about the first U.S. soldier killed in Bosnia.
That soldier, whose name has not yet been released, was part of the NATO peacekeeping mission and died in a mine explosion in northern Bosnia today. He was apparently walking when he set that mine off. President Clinton late today extended his sympathy to the soldier's family. Another U.S. soldier assigned to the Bosnian mission died in December, but that was of natural causes. We'll have more on this story as it becomes available, and of course, at 6:30 on the CBS Evening News.
Well, you don't need us to tell you how cold it is outside. We've got some of the lowest temperatures we've had to deal with all winter. These pictures are from downtown, and all over people are bundled up outside, and they should be. With single-digit highs, it doesn't take long for the cold to become dangerous. Well, let's get right to meteorologist Bob Kuzma. We're taking him a little bit early tonight. Bob, when will this cold weather end?
Well, Jackie, there will be a bit of a warm-up on it the next week, but I'll tell you, coldest temperatures of the winter season early tomorrow morning. Get a load of these readings. Tomorrow morning, yeah, way below 0. 5 below in Morgantown. It'll be down around 6 below in Pittsburgh. 8 below in Washington, Weirton 5 below. 7 below tomorrow morning at 7 and 8 o'clock in Newcastle. Tomorrow morning in Oil City, 6 below 0. Did I mention Indiana? 7 below 0 in Uniontown at 8 below 0 tomorrow morning. The only thing I can say is there won't be much of a wind, so the wind chill indices more than likely will be around 15 to 20 degrees below 0, and we're in for a bit of a warm-up, and that'll get underway on to Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Back in a few minutes to tell you all about that. All right, Jackie?
All right, thanks, Bob. If you think things are bad here, listen to how cold it is out west. This is Tower, Minnesota, where the temperatures during the day are 30 degrees below. 2 men with questionable judgment are camping out.
At 55 degrees or below, your spit or saliva explodes. So there are things that you can experience at those temperatures that you don't normally experience.
Wow. But in all seriousness, the temperatures can be deadly. In fact, 33 deaths nationwide are being blamed on the cold, snow, and ice. Well, it wasn't the bitter cold, but another snowstorm that gave people in Maryland problems overnight. The storm dumped more than a foot of snow on parts of the East Coast. They even got snow last night as close as Westmoreland and Fayette counties.
Speaking of the weather, many people in our area are still dealing with the damage from the flood just a couple of weeks ago. Homes were destroyed. Some people were left without furniture or clothing. So some parents and students in Elizabeth Township got together to help out. They collected appliances, furniture, and clothing and gave them to the flood victims today. Organizers say they were stunned by all the people who wanted to help.
It really is amazing. I'm overwhelmed, but I've got goosebumps talking about it.
Today was the only day the flood victims could pick up furniture and clothing from the school district. All the leftover items are being given to the Salvation Army. How about a thought to warm you up? Pirate spring training is not far off, and Kevin McClatchy says the latest setback in his efforts to buy the Pirates is just a bump in the road. One of his investors pulled out yesterday, but McClatchy says he still has the money to pull that deal off. A lot of fans seem to agree. They showed up today for Pirate Fest 96, and our Stu Emery was there too.
How do you get rid of the midwinter blues and a loss in the Super Bowl? You start thinking about baseball. That's what Pirate Fest is all about, and those who came, including Kevin McClatchy, are ready for the season.
It's great to see everybody out here, and you know, this is really, having been through this deal for 6 months, 9 months, whatever it's been, this is a really positive event for me to see.
McClatchy says he hopes to be the new Pirate owner within 2 weeks, and many of the fans hope he's right.
It seems like Mr. McClatchy is confident that he can drum up the necessary funds to complete the transaction, and I think most of Pittsburgh just wants to get it behind us and get on with both spring and with baseball.
After this past football season, it was beginning to look like Pittsburgh was a one-sport town. Not so, say these fans here today. They waited in long lines patiently for autographs from former Pirates like Bob Robertson and Bill Mazeroski.
I'm doing great. You know which one you are, don't you? Did you get this here? Huh? Did you get that here? Yeah.
And there were Pirates from this year's team, too. Pitchers Steve Cook and Jason Christensen signed autographs by the hundreds. They also hope the distraction of Pirate ownership is behind them.
I know now it's pretty much a done deal, and now we can just kind of focus on baseball and get back to you know, the job at hand and improving on last year.
There were some possible Pirates of the future here too, hoping that their baseball team will be right here in Pittsburgh when they're ready for the major leagues. Stu Emery, KDKA Eyewitness News.
And Kevin McClatchy told Stu that he expects to have approval for his purchase of the Pirates by the middle of the month.
From Pirates to Steelers and an arrest last night. Former Pittsburgh Steeler Terry Long was arrested for disorderly conduct, aggravated assault, resisting arrest, and driving under the influence. Long was stopped by Pittsburgh police downtown last night for driving without a license plate. Long was an offensive guard with the Steelers until 1991.
A man in Armstrong County got a frightening surprise last night when he came home to find a burglar in his house. Police say that burglar held David Collier at gunpoint for 30 minutes before Collier was able to escape. It happened in Boggs Township. That's in the central part of the county. George Pyle Jr. of Elderton is under arrest tonight, charged with burglary and aggravated assault. And in Bedford County, construction workers have uncovered a human skull. It was found about 3 feet underground under a Pennsylvania Turnpike bridge near Bedford. State police are trying to figure out whether the bones are evidence of a crime or just an old grave. That skull appears to have been in the ground for some time. Well, coming up next, Alzheimer's. It's a scary disease, and it's hard to diagnose.
But believe it or not, some doctors think the answer is in the blink of your eye. We'll explain coming up next in the Health Team Report.
Cold enough for you? Meteorologist Bob Kutzman joins us now with our AccuWeather forecast, and good news as we head into the week, right?
Yeah, good news. Mostly good news, matter of fact. Bit of a warm-up, I'll tell you. Plenty cold out there right now. The temperature's in the single digits. Only got to 13 officially this afternoon. 8 right now. Humidity 47%. Wind northwest at 8. And the pressure 30.30 inches rising. I'll tell you about that, slow warming trend coming up in a couple of minutes. All righty? And we do have partly to mostly sunny skies around the area. Most of the cloud cover up and down the East Coast. Moving off the East Coast, you can see patchy clouds, but some breaks on the clouds, more clouds in the northern plains, northern Great Lakes area. I'll tell you, a few rain showers now moving off the southern tip of Florida. It's going to be plenty cold. Even in northern Florida, temperatures tomorrow morning will be well below freezing. Little snow along the East Coast now. Places like Ocean City, Maryland picked up a foot of snow just north of Rehoboth, 18 inches of snow. Inland, get around Philadelphia, New York City, Boston, 5 and 6 inches of snow. Most of the snow was just along the immediate East Coast as it moved rapidly off to the northeast. Some places in the Western Carolinas, Western North Carolina, picked up better than 20 inches, and most of that snow passed well south of Pittsburgh, just south of Morgantown, and off to the east. It scooted rapidly off to the east and northeast. Just a few rain showers in the southeast right now, and out west, getting some rain in California, especially Southern California, where they really need it. Of course, in the mountains, elevations above 7,000 feet in Southern California. A little bit of snow, more rain along the Washington and Oregon coast at the present time. Right now, temperatures are running in the single digits, and wind chill down around 10 to 15 below zero because the winds are only around 9, 10, 11 miles an hour. That's the only saving grace that I can find. Franklin 6, Erie 3, Sharon 4, Cannonsburg right now at 7, Somerset you're at 2, Greensburg at 7, Clarion at 4. That's it. Franklin 6 degrees. What's going to happen overnight? Not a whole lot going on, really. We have almost a full moon. It'll be full very shortly. It'll be moving in, and then we'll have some clouds rolling in here. And so we have clouds in and out, and most of the clouds will drift off to the northeast later on tonight and during the day tomorrow. So we'll have one of those mixture days, you know, tomorrow, clouds and sunshine, pretty much like today. A little colder, though. Instead of talking about 12, 13, 14 degrees, I'm talking about temperatures a little colder than that. Early tomorrow morning, there is a chance. With all the clouds that we have in here right now, if we don't get any breaks in the clouds, temperatures aren't going to drop too many degrees below zero. Still plenty cold. Right now, it looks like Oil City, you'll be down around 6 below. Same at Pittsburgh, 8 below at Washington, 5 below at Morgantown, 8 below tomorrow Uniontown, Weirton, 5 below up in the northern plains, North and South Dakota and Minnesota. They'd say, whoa, they'd accept this. They'd say, this is wonderful, because their temperatures this morning, 20, 30, 35 below zero. Yesterday morning, one place in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, 60 below zero. Not a wind chill, 60 below zero, the actual temperature. So we're kind of I was going to say fortunate. Forget it. We're not that fortunate, not with temperatures 5, 8 degrees below zero. And tomorrow, colder than what we had today. Morgantown, the warm spot tomorrow afternoon at 12. Wheeling at 8, Pittsburgh 8, Butler 7 tomorrow afternoon, Clarion only 5, Katanning 5, Johnstown 5, and Youngstown tomorrow afternoon at 6. But gradually things will moderate thereafter. Could be a little bit of light snow in the middle of the week, but even that won't amount to much. But we're heading for temperatures by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday up to around 30 or thereabouts, so quite an improvement. In our weather, the AccuWeather forecast looking like this. I'll call it partly cloudy. At times a lot of clouds, sometimes no clouds at all. Very cold, though. Low temperature near that record low for the date. Tomorrow morning, the record low, 7 below zero, set back in 1985. We'll be down around 5 and 6 below zero tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, clouds and sunshine, much like today, but very cold. High temperature tomorrow afternoon, no better than 8, 9, maybe 10 in a few spots. Ready for the big warm-up? All right, a few flurries on Monday. 5 below in the morning, but 20 in the afternoon. On Tuesday, mostly sunny, 0 in the morning, 24 in the afternoon. On Wednesday, a little snow, but a very, very warm day, 30 for the high. And then another warm day on Thursday, 28 for that high, out and about. Oh, it's here, the Tokyo String Quartet, Carnegie Music Hall, Monday at 6:15. There's a telephone number, 624-4129. There you have it.
Guess we're lucky the wind isn't more of a factor out there.
That's exactly right. The wind had been up around 20 and 30 miles an hour.
Oh, it would have been nasty.
Really bad. And look at the northern plains and up from Minnesota. You know, that temperature talking about 50, 60 below.
There's a reason that song said the wind comes racing across the plains.
That's it.
Something like that.
Something like that, yes.
Sang that once, I remember it. Friends and fans of dancing legend and Pittsburgh native Gene Kelly are mourning his death. Hollywood stars who worked with Kelly are praising his life and his career. Debbie Reynolds says that her work with Kelly and Singing in the Rain made her a star. Oddly enough, Kelly said a few years ago he never really wanted to dance.
Went screaming and kicking all the way because, in truth, I never wanted to be a dancer. That's true. My whole ambition was to play shortstop for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Kelly grew up, of course, in East Liberty. He died in his sleep yesterday after complications from a stroke. Gene Kelly was 83 years old, and the family says there will be no funeral service.
Tonight from the health team, new hope for people who may think they have Alzheimer's disease. It's a disease that causes brain cells to die and eventually robs people of their memory. There's no cure, but if detected soon enough, early treatment can help prevent more brain cells from dying. Now there are 2 simple tests that can tell early whether or not you have Alzheimer's.
And within 50 minutes, then we have 2 tests that look like they're very powerful predictors of Alzheimer's disease.
In one test, doctors put a mild eye drop into the eye. If the person has Alzheimer's, their eyes will dilate open widely within 30 minutes. And a second test associates a sound with a puff of air, which causes a person to blink shortly before the puff of air. A person with Alzheimer's would not blink. Researchers say that 5 out of 8 people who did poorly on the test were diagnosed with Alzheimer's within 3 years. Now, it is important to remember that only trained physicians should administer the test. Now, a man that's hard to forget, John Steigerwald, joins us with today's sports.
Yeah, I think you could forget about what's happened in sports this week around here, though. It hasn't been a real good week for local sports teams. It started with the Steelers on Sunday. Bad week for the Penguins, ended up today, and not a very good day for Pitt at Villanova. We'll show you all that. Stick around if you'd like. It's coming up in a second or two.